Before I get started on painting these Tyranids, I thought I'd show you my armies a little closer up so you can see what I have. They've been in the background sometimes. So the first army I had was, it used to be called the Dark Eldar. Now they're called the Drakari. As soon as I saw these guys, I thought they were so cool. Just the way there's all these really, the rounded, the swoopy, pointy, just really sharp looking. They just really look dangerous. And then they're all skimmers. They're the fastest in the game. And at the time they used poison weapons, which ignored toughness and just automatically wounded on a 4-up. So a lot of really cool things, space pirates, dark elves, however you want to look at it. These guys are just vicious, nasty, and I just thought they were really cool. It took me a while to finally kind of get to this color scheme of the red and black. That was always the idea. I didn't do it very well at first. I didn't know about layering using multiple colors, reds, for instance. It took me a while to get my technique, and then having all the metal be that, bright bronze color, and then all the cloth purple. When I started, I was all over the place. I sort of had the red and black armor, but all the cloth was more pink, and everything had the squiggly patterns like that on the shoulder pads. I went that detailed, and it was just a bit cluttered, and all the metal was steel colored, silver. So, I eventually over the years was able to refine it and get my technique down. And I started with just a single 10-pack of Cobblette Warriors. And then eventually I got myself some witches. And, I was just kind of trying to flesh out my army. And I wasn't really, I was just enjoying painting them. That was the main thing. Quickly realized I would need some transport. So you've already seen the Raiders. I got those at different times. Also the Venoms. The Venoms had splinter cannons, which were a lot more powerful, more shots. Really fast. Really cool. And and then eventually I got, I don't know what came first, but I got some Incubi. These Reavers. I always thought these guys were really cool. Just so badass. Eventually got some Racks. I still actually haven't completely painted those, matter of fact. There's a character, Urian Raykarth. He's a homunculus. This was a character at the time I started. Duke Thoskus. He made all the poison better. Now I just kind of use them as an Archon, if anything. These Scourges, they came with the set. The Drakari versus Eldari, Dark Eldar, regular Eldar, that's where I got Drazar. Hellions, got them over time. They're where I'll try to do something a little weirder, a little different. See the first 5 all had designs on their boards. And then the second set of 5, I actually tried different witch cult painting styles. There's one. There's one not even close to being finished. That's the OG paint scheme. And then this guy, he actually had a little bit of story. This guy is all backwards. Red and purple is switched up all the different places. But I figured, when you look at these guys long enough, you start giving them all little stories. Or some of them get stories, or you get ideas. And I thought maybe this is the one guy here who gets them meetings with the Harlequins. You know, I don't know. Who knows? So hopefully you've seen them all. Trying to get up close. I haven't finished painting that guy, but you can see it's got a nice crisp red. Scourges, you know, they kind of quick. They can move a little bit. They all got big guns. These guys really, I've noticed, are, well, they used to be a lot of points. I haven't seen points in this 10th edition. I don't know how to determine points yet. I'll figure that out eventually. Maybe it's online. But these guys seem to pack a nice punch. One of the main tactics of the Drakari is there's so many of them, kind of hitting you from every angle, hitting you hard. They hit hard. They don't like to be hit. They're little glass cannons. That's what makes them fast. But yeah, these guys can pack a punch, and it's one of those things you got to decide: do I go after those scourges or do I go after one of those venoms? I got hellions up my ass. You know, it's pretty cool. So they're almost a swarm army. Yeah, so I guess that's all. But that was always the red and black. Originally, when I first saw, you know, the original color scheme, I thought that it was black with gray edging. It wasn't until much later I realized that these guys are actually all green, you know. So, and then at some point, I decided I just wanted to paint something a little different. So I moved on to some Dark Angel veterans. When I was first deciding which army I wanted, these guys were one of the top contenders. I knew for sure I did not want Ultramarines, blue Ultramarines, you know, vanilla Marines, not my style. But I liked their original paint scheme with the green armor and the kind of cream-colored cloaks. But as soon as I saw them, I said, oh, I want to see these guys in some dark blue cloaks. Do that cloth. And then pretty much right away after that, I knew I wanted to make it pop with that white armor. And then eventually I got the Dark Vengeance set, which added just about all these guys here. And then also these Chaos Space Marines. Get to them in a second. But you can see, now this guy actually switched it up. He's got blue armor and a white cloak. Ever since I started with the Dark Eldar, you know, they're not psychers like their little cousins, the Eldar. So I had known for a while I wanted to do Eldar color scheme based off of my Dark Eldars, my Drakari. And I'll explain how that worked out. But to get back to this point, I thought orange would be the color of Psychers, of Mind. So I don't know why I switched him, gave him blue armor and a white cloak. Kind of want to get another second model of him and switch it so he matches everybody. Blue cloak, white armor, but whatever. I barely use these guys anyways. The regular troops, you can see that pretty much they're all white. But if you look at their torsos, it's blue. They all got wings on their chest. So it looks like mostly white. So it's almost like all they'd have to do when they're a veteran, slip on the cloak, they're good to go. They already got their color scheme. And then, because everything was blue and white, I got the silver and black medals. So So that's why I did the gray. I figured maybe these guys are from like a snowy, I don't know, but you can see the base. It's all rocky like a mountain. And then one thing I did do is I changed over to a kind of a cream ivory color, because that's similar to how the original Dark Angels are. And then with these guys also, a lot of black there. What are they? Raven Wing. So still got my blue. Everything that would have been white armor though just got replaced. So and then with that came the Chaos Space Marines. Now this color scheme, believe it or not, was actually inspired by an old lady's shirt. I saw the colors, the kind of purplish, maroon you see, kind of a tangerine, orange, some gray streakies, and then the kind of turquoise. And I thought, well, that's a cool color scheme. I don't know what I'll ever put it on. But as soon as I got these new Chaos Space Marines in the Dark Vengeance set, I knew right away that that's what I was going to do for them. That set came with all these cultists. I tried to make the shooters a little more on the maroon side with only a little bit of turquoise. And then I tried to do the close combat guys a little more turquoise, a little less maroon. I think I mostly did it, you might not know that unless I pointed it out, but probably wouldn't have unless I pointed it out. It's not as obvious necessarily, and then eventually I figured I just want to try my paint scheme on just some plain old, regular old, you can see these guys back here got all kinds of stuff going on, horns and weapons and all that. And then eventually I got the set that was the Eldari versus Drakari. And that's where it got Drazar and Janezar. So let me move them up so it's a little easier to see them. So the way I came up with their color scheme, I actually had their idea for a color scheme a long time. I just didn't necessarily have a reason to buy the models. So it was nice to have those, in that box set, because I got more Incubi, I got Drazar, I think that's where the Scourges came from, maybe another set of Hellions, I can't remember what was in it. But now I get a new army to paint. So I knew that since these are the Dark Eldar, black and red, I thought, all right, well, since this is their light, happy-go-lucky, friendly little cousins, we would do more orange and white. Orange is close to red, and plus they have psyker abilities, some of them. And like I said, I kind of thought that out of the mind. So orange, I knew that I wanted that to be the main color. And then just kind of keep it on the lighter side. It was kind of just by chance that I happened to have the lines in there. I had primed this cream color, or Wraithbone, I think it was. And as I was painting the orange on, it just looked so cool, so nice and crisp to have those white lines and those white accents. And I had always known that I wanted little blue accents, because, and like blue cloth, for instance, because they have purple cloth, and purple is close to blue. Kind of a color theory thing, just kind of shifting the colors over one. And still maintaining color theory. And I decided I wanted them to have some light blue skin. There's only 2 of them in here that you can see that, but, oh, actually no, some of these, I can't remember what they're called. They're not called witches. Banshees, these are called banshees. So I kept their traditional cream colored armor and just kind of did my own thing. Like I said, my own color scheme. And then I bought these guys extra. They're still not even finished. Maybe the front one is the closest being finished, with a little bit more lighter blue on there. But yeah, in the you know, the traditional Eldari army, these guys, you know, I think a lot of the their main color scheme was like red or something for these particular units, and then these guys were a different color, like turquoise or aqua or something. So I thought, you know, they'd be blue for mine because blue is the main theme. So I hope you enjoyed checking out my models a little closer up, learning a little bit about you know, my coloring style. Just really, I just focus on color theory. I figure out what the main color is, which would bring us on to these guys. I had always promised myself I would never ever have Space Marines. And even if I did, I would never ever paint them traditional blue. I'd always wanted to do my own coloration on every single army, which I've done so far. But the only reason I did blue was because before I started the videos, the starter set, I had just bought the starter set, and I didn't want to paint everybody, you know, just to make the videos. I figured it's a starter set, learning 10th edition. I'll just go ahead and prime them, their main thing. That way, you know, it's traditional blue, it's a starter set, learning, great. If I ever have more Space Marines in the future, I'll probably do a different color and just keep them as all backups or special, whatever, I don't know. But my Tyranids, I knew I wanted to do green, kind of little bright greens, jungle, like a jungle motif. Want to put little jungle plants all on their bases. You know, basing really makes a big difference, makes it look kind of complete and finished. So the only thing is I've ran into is I just grabbed some green that looked decent for the basing, for the base coat, or the primer coat I should say. But then I realized, based on my paints that I have, I only had a few paints that were even still alive. My paints have been shelved for a while. So some of these work, well, these ones work, I don't know about that one. But then I also realized the only real decent color combination I have ends up being the Drakari OG. So if I can avoid that on my Tyranids, I will. I might actually do it for the bigger, badder guys. You know, their shells. I use colors to kind of help differentiate different weapons, or leaders will have more colors, stuff like that. So I might give this guy a dark shell, whereas everybody else is a lot brighter, lime green, whatever. But I just got some new paints in, so I will be starting a whole bunch there based on the color schemes from the Citadel Paint app. If you've never used it, I highly suggest using it. You can get the perfect use, or perfect combination out of your Citadel paints. If that's what you use, that's what I like. I know that a lot of people use different stuff, but I just like to keep it simple. If I go to a Games Workshop 40K place, you know, I know they're gonna have Citadel, so that's how I do it. But anyways, I'm gonna get started pretty soon here, painting these Tyranids. It's gonna be kind of experimental, because I don't know exactly which greens I wanna do. I don't know if I'm gonna do all of them, kind of, you know, a lot of different green styles, or if it's gonna get narrowed down to say maybe just 3 green styles. I'll try to put up a picture to explain what I'm talking about, from the Citadel app. But anyway, that's my armies. That's my paint station. All right. See you soon with these Tyranids. Oh yeah, that's my Joker picture. It's awesome. I need to put it up for real.